Hi, I'm Bart Hanson. I'm the owner and operator of CrushLivePoker.com. The following hand comes from our call-in show that we record at 4:45 p.m. Pacific Time every Monday. If you want to call in your hand, check out the phone number in the description.
This is Casino Hill. It's like just over an hour northeast of Toronto. Canada.
Okay, in Canada.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay,
Yeah, so it's a 2-5-500 cap game.
okay. 2-5-500 cap game, so 100 big blind cap.
Yeah, that's right.
And what are their rules about like moving around tables and stuff? Like if you go over the cap, do you have to take it down if you want a table change? Do you have enough tables to have a table change sometimes?
No, absolutely. There's enough for table change. The rule is if you're an existing player, your stack just goes with you.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's
I wish
only
they
a
did
player-
that. I wish they did that in California.
Oh, you have to start with the with the cap again when you move tables.
That's what I was talking about, and that's why sometimes, like I said,
Yeah.
like if you're going with an image thing, like at a 5-5 1K game or 5-10 1500 at Commerce, sometimes I won't move to a better table because I've got so many chips in front of me. You know what I mean? Because
Right,
they
yeah,
make you
makes
chip
sense.
down. But okay, so 2-5 600
Right,
effective.
Yeah, so 600 effective. I'm under the gun. I open 20 with Queen of Hearts, Queen of Spades.
Okay.
Under the gun one, rec player, Asian lady, probably in her 40s, very
Yep.
loose passive. She makes the call.
Yep.
The villain in the hand, he's 2 to the left, middle position. He 3-bets 100.
Okay.
This guy I call a solid pro. He's
Yep.
there pretty much every day. Folds around to me. I make the call, and then the rec player folds.
So did you ever consider four betting? So again, you open queens under the gun to 20, 600
Yeah.
effective at 2-5. UTG1 calls, rec player probably has somewhat of a static calling range. What I mean by that is whether that rec player has queen jack offsuit under the gun 1 or on the button, it's going to call. It doesn't matter what position they're in. And then villain, who you said is solid, makes it 100 sort of as a squeeze.
Mhm.
You're not that deep. So did you ever just consider
No.
four betting and getting it in here? Because queens is sort of in between and you've got another caller in. I guess my point is that I would probably do more flat calling without the dead money in between, but with the dead money in between, I might be just incentivized to go with it.
Okay. No, that makes sense. I mean, I guess if we were a later position, I might consider that because I think he can 3-bet a little wider.
Uh-huh.
But because I'm under the gun, I think he's pretty tight there. So I think I'd rather just call.
Okay. I mean, I think it's on the
Yeah.
borderline with that extra dead money out
Okay.
there. So, it's something to consider. And hey, listen, I made a couple of speculative just calls. We played 10, 20, 40 on Live at the Bike on Friday. Pretty big game for me. The lineup was okay, not epic like normal Live at the Bike. And I made a couple of just calls with Ace King off, like cutoff versus button at like 125 big steep against Nick, but I could have gone with it. I mean, I could have 4-bet. I could have 4-bet Ace 4 suited. That's obviously a much later configuration, but I sort of felt like I was very comfortable playing in that spot. Here, if you get a call in between, it can be somewhat treacherous, but you make the call and your head's up, so that's good.
Yep.
Yep.
And so the flop comes down 10 of hearts, 8 of hearts, 6 of diamonds.
Okay.
Okay. I
Yep.
check. Villain bets 120,
Yep.
and I make the call.
So he bets 120 and a 220, and you now make the call. And now we're dealing with some pretty awkward stack sizes, right? I mean, this is
Yeah.
sort of the thing. I mean,
Yeah.
after you make this call, the pot's going to be, 460, and it looks like you have, like 350-ish left, something like
Yeah,
that?
like 380 behind. So yeah, just just over like a 3/4 pot size bet left.
So you could just check raise all in, but it would be a pot size bet on the flop if you wanted to go with it. I think it's sort of in between. I don't hate the call, but you're certainly going to be put in a position to either go with it or not, I think, on the turn. So you make the call. You've got queens
Exactly.
with the queen of hearts. It's 10 of hearts, 8 of hearts, 6 of diamonds, 120 and a call. So now it's 460 to the turn. You've got about 380 left, right?
Yeah, that's right.
All right, so let's go
And
to
so
the
the
turn.
turn brings the 8 of diamonds.
So the turn brings in the 8 of diamonds. So it pairs the 8.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good card for you. It puts out a backdoor diamond draw.
Mhm.
10 of hearts, 8 of
Yep.
hearts, 6 of diamonds, 8 of diamonds. Okay.
Yeah. I check it,
Yep.
and the villain goes 225.
So when the villain goes 225, if you call, you only have 155 behind, right? Something like that.
Exactly.
Is that right?
Yeah, I just don't think calling's an option here. I think we're going with it or we're folding at this point, I think.
I mean, I think you have to go with it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was interesting that caller talked about one of the best hands that you could have with Jack Jack that first caller that we had today on that 10 4 deuce board, but was concerned because he cold called in between. But here, like,
Hmm.
especially if you're going to four bet off like kings and aces, if this guy is any type of hand reader, and he, even though he's good, he might not be like, yeah, you do have like some tens here, and I guess you
Hmm.
have quad eights, but this really is one of the best hands you're going to have if you are going to four bet kings and aces here. And it looks like he could
Hmm.
maybe pound some front door hearts and continue to go with some backdoor diamond draws here on the turn
Right.
if he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, yeah, I guess in game my thought was just to sort of view it as if he was just shoving on me and seeing what my required equity is at that point.
Right, right.
And I was just kind of doing that in my head and then just sort of putting together with his ranges. And I thought I had a bit of an overlay. So
Well, I mean,
in
if
game I
you
decided,
consider it a
yeah,
shove, well, it's actually less than a
yeah,
shove, right? I mean,
it
you're
is.
going to be getting more than 2 to 1. You probably only need like 30% equity here, right? Something like that.
Yeah, I came up with 31 when I did the math when I got home. But in game I thought, yeah, probably somewhere around 33% thereabouts.
I mean, and then the
Um,
question is though, like, does he play all his aces
yeah,
and all his kings
what's
this
his
way?
range like? Yeah, exactly.
So
Does
all
he
his
have
aces,
tens or jacks, or are they partials or
right? All
yeah?
his aces and all his kings. That's 12 combos of hands. Maybe like one of the tens if he does that. Occasionally jacks, but what about him just like putting pressure on you though with like ace king, ace queen? I can't give these guys like credit for balance in a spot like that.
Well,
And
that's what I thought.
it's
I thought,
actually
yeah.
not a bad play though for him to barrel that hand though too, because if he has specifically ace king and you didn't four bet, and now
Hmm.
the eight comes and you've got less eights, and okay, occasionally you've got like tens. You could have sevens, you could have nines here. You could also have ace king and sort of be taking one off, some sort of draw. Um,
Yeah, and then I mean in game, I think he's got a few draws there as well. He's got ace king of hearts, he's got ace king of diamonds,
yeah,
maybe some ace five suited there as well, maybe ace queen of diamonds.
yeah.
So we sort of putting that together. I thought I had enough to just sort of go with it. So that's what I thought.
So you went with
Yeah,
it.
just want to call and see. I did go with it.
I
Yeah.
think it's fine.
Uh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Like I said, when I went home and I started playing with the numbers and the ranges, I mean, depending on how you tweak them, you can get it so it's not a good play. But I think in game, and I think my intuition was right. I just went with it, and yeah, I guess you sort of confirmed that.
What do you ended
Anyway,
up
in game, I
having?
went with it. He snap called, and I said, "Well, I guess you got me. Do you have aces?" He said, "Yep." And he flips over ace ace.
Yeah, I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, that
Yeah.
you're sort of bound to lose 125 big blinds with queens versus aces, right? In a structure where people are
Yeah.
opening to 4x and then, he three bets to 20x, right? With a call in between. I
Yeah.
mean, you're dealing with such shallow stacks post flop. How can you fold?
Well, that's what it is. I think the
It's just
stacks
like,
just sort of handcuff you at that point. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and you'll find that a
Yeah.
lot in 500 cap games. But that's a nice little hand. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Thanks, Bart. Take
Hey guys, if you like what you've seen here, please click on the subscribe button and you'll get notified every time we put up a new video. And if you want to check out crushlivepoker.com for the first month free, use the code YTA200. Click on the link right there.